Welcome to ChristiTutionalist Politics Podcast, aka CTP, in association with TheLibertyBeacon.com, and I am your host, Joseph M. Leonard, and that's Leonard. CTP is your no muss, no fuss, just me, you, and occasional guest type podcast. I really appreciate you tuning in. As Graham Norton would say, let's get on with the show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Democrat, aka hashtag CommieFasciSocies blend hate. Now, I'm going to break that all down into separate pieces. First, let's deal with that hashtag in there and why I say, when I usually call them Fascicrats, which is indeed true, there are, you can see for yourself, 20 plus planks of the German National Socialist Deutschland Arbeiter Party, the Nazi Socies platform in the current modern Democrat Party platform. Sure, of course, they didn't take it, run it through Google Translate into English, and then paste that directly into the platform. They say it in workarounds and spin and flowery language, but we all know the Socialized-Medicine plank is there. They don't even beat around the bush about that anymore. They are for Obamacare, and they were open, and we talked about it then. You could still see the videos today. It was just a stepping stone that would fail so that they could then bring in Medicare for all, but it wouldn't be Medicare for all. It is Medicaid for all, because Medicare, at least when it's done properly and not allowing people who never paid into it on it in millions upon millions upon billions of numbers, like all the illegal immigrants they're putting on it. Normally, you and I, we all pay into FICA, the Social Security portion and the Medicare portion of that. So Medicare and Social Security is a contract, is an entitlement we as citizens have obligated to us to be there, but instead, of course, the left gives it to all kinds of people who the system isn't designed to be in, and of course, all of that, Social Security and Medicare, if not dealt with, will be completely bankrupt in short order. That's a little off the beaten path, but again, a side rabbit hole that absolutely relates. They want Medicaid for all, meaning that's not paid into. You're not getting back. Medicaid is for those who don't have Medicare, who hadn't paid into the system. They created Medicaid as, again, the supposed freebie giveaway. But no, of course, the illegals that and others that get the Medicaid, you and I pay for all that. So they all along in their socialized medicine scheme have been moving towards Obamacare is failing, will continue to fail. We keep trying to put Band-Aids on it, but it is going to collapse as they wanted it to, so that they could then peddle Medicaid for all scheme, which will be even bigger government boondoggle than what Obamacare is. All right, back to that hashtag, CommieFasciSocies. If you follow me on any number of social media platforms, you see me use that hashtag. Why do I say that? Well, yeah, Fascicrats applies. Again, other plank, gun control, gun confiscation, more and more and more gun laws until eventually we all know their plan to take away all the guns, just like was done in Venezuela, just like was done. Look at England, gave up all their guns. Look what's going on there now. You give up your Second Amendment right, you have no other rights. Get it through our thick skulls. And that is their end goal, to take away all the guns except for the favored few. They decide you may have it, if you're out on a farm, maybe you can have a bolt action rifle and maybe a 12-gauge shotgun. Not the pump action kind where you actually have like 6 shotgun shells. No. Single use, or maybe a double-barreled shotgun, for that time that maybe a varmint needs to be put down on the farm. But all of us in the city, no. Unless if you're an absolute favored special person in the communist elite. And believe me, any of you hearing this are not going to be in the favored elites. They are going to be the have-nots, very few of them, and the rest of us, like every other socialist, communist shithole, have nothing. As Klaus Schwab said at the World Economic Forum, trying to, like the left wants to join in this new world order, you will have nothing and you will like it. No, we won't like it. You won't like it, and you should not stand for it. Not with our Constitution. We are a sovereign nation, and the New World Order can go piss up a tree. Pardon me for getting a little more crude than I normally do, but can you tell I'm heated? If you're not upset, what is the matter with you? If you're not upset during this episode with me, with what I've said thus far, why aren't you upset? You better start getting upset, or again, your rights are gone. Really, really soon. Gone. 0 rights. The censorship online will be complete, top-down, federal-controlled through net neutrality that I did a show on before. They're going to re-resurrect it. Oh, it's about access to the internet for all. No, it's backdoor censorship, federal control of the public side of the internet, like they have full and complete control over the military side of the internet, which is what originally came first. That's what the internet came from, me as a former IT guy. The left, have you not figured this out yet? Like the Inflation Reduction Act printed a bunch more money, created more inflation. It wasn't an Inflation Reduction Act. It was a leftist money laundering scheme to give trillions of dollars to family, friends, donor kickbacks, so that then other donors then kick back some of the kickback to the leftist campaigns, like the solar farms that, they get hundreds of billions of dollars, and lo and behold, after they line their pockets, after 3 years, they declare bankruptcy and shut down, and all those people that we thought were getting good jobs are back out on the street without a job, because it was never intended to be a long-term solution to anything. Not our energy needs, not the climate hysteria concerns. It was always, has been, always will be with the left, money laundering opportunities to shuffle money around amongst those that are in the inside, and you and I are always on the outside. But the Inflation Reduction Act caused more inflation, and you and I that already are not on the inside and don't have anything are the ones who are left to suffer the consequences. They always title a bill something and pretty much guarantee every time it will do the exact opposite of what they say it will do. Or, again, it's meant to sell you an illusion, a delusion, just an excuse to get more money out of you, or an excuse to spread more money around their favored family, friends, donors, others on the inside. But yet, a whole lot of people been on this planet quite a long time. But hey, what time's the game on? As Say Roan over at Wham Radio would say. Occasional distractions. I did a The Liberty Beacon piece on that. This is related, right? Another rabbit hole, yes, related. Occasional distractions. Yeah, I watch football games on occasion. Yeah, I like hockey. I played hockey when I was younger. I like to watch hockey games. But that bread and circus, and again, there's a whole show, bread and circus, if you're consumed by the boob tube and the movie theater and the FM radio blaring your favorite music 24/7 all year round and clueless to the things that actually hurt your life, that's what they want. They want you, hence the Roman day term, bread and circus, just to make sure you've got just enough for your belly to not complain, and circus distractions to keep you preoccupied rather than being involved with your government that says in big, bold font, "We the people." You, probably not you, you're listening or watching the show. You're keeping up on what's going around. But all those other people just wandering around in a fog, dazed and confused all the time, thinking they can coast through life and everything will be fantastic. Hope is great, but it's not a strategy. You have to pay attention. You have to be involved. We are here today because those prior had not been involved in that. And we're continuing down that slippery slope, yes, mentioned in other episodes, down the CommieFasciSocies blend towards full, complete, federal, top-down control of everything, unless we are willing to keep them, push to keep them, work to keep them within the constitutional restraints our brilliant founders gave us. That's why the founders are under attack. That's why Christianity and Judaism is under attack. Like the other day, Dennis Prager said on his show, one of the reasons they attack Christianity, one of the tenets, honor thy mother and father. Oh, the left hates that. No, remember Hitlery, as discussed. It takes a village. That's biblical. The original one is biblical. Yeah, I might need the neighbor to watch the kid, or a cousin, or an aunt or an uncle to watch the kid because mommy and daddy got something else we got to do or whatever. And we need other people at times as a community, which is voluntary, which is based on charity, our personal commandment to be each other's brother and keeper, and versus communism / socialism / fascism, which is, of course, forced, edict, dictate, theft from you to give to another. I said this online the other day, again, a little off the wall here, about needing a flat tax, because a lot of our fellow dummies in this nation think they're getting money for free. They get a credit for something on their taxes. Okay, that's $5,000 taken from somebody else and given to them, and they're too stupid to understand at the same time, out of the other pocket, the government and the IRS is taking $5,000 also from them to give back to person A. So person A thinks, hey, I'm also getting something for free. They took $5,000 from you, they took $5,000 from them, and they just exchanged pockets, exchanged the pants with whom the pockets belong, that money. And morons out there do not understand the bait and switch, the smoke and mirrors that is going on here. Eliminate all the deductions and make it a flat tax. Someone without children should not be subsidizing those who decide to have children, and vice versa. Money stolen from someone who has kids and needs all the money they have to help raise their family to give to somebody else for whatever other reason, right? Those who own homes should not be subsidizing those who rent. That's generally not the case, but it is the other way around. Those who rent through the property taxes and income taxes being paid are subsidizing credits and write-offs for those who have mortgages on their homes. No one held a gun to anyone's head and said, you must have a child. Okay, so we'll help you pay for that child because we're forcing. No one forced you to do that. No one forced anyone to buy a home. We all, as part of the American dream, want to, aspire to have our own property, but those who are renting shouldn't be stolen from to help us own our house. Do you see the bait and switch, the smoke and mirrors? Steal some from a person A, B, and C and just redistribute that around among A, B, C, and D, and everybody loses in the end. If you're lucky, you break even. Like I said, stolen $5,000 from you to give to them, and they steal $5,000 from them to give right back to you. That's a wash. You break even. But yet, again, idiots in this nation think, wow, I'm 5,000 ahead. No. It's like the Bidenomics Part 3 episode, the When Are You Going to Get Up and Fight? And Bidenomics Part 3 show. I don't remember off the top of my head which episode that was. It's all moving money around. And yet some people don't get that. When I stopped to take a drink, I forgot to segue to the point I was going to make about the Bidenomics. Oh, yeah, the Bidenomics episode. Okay, thank you, Lord. Thank you. I remember now. It was the point about the moving the money around. You have to look at both sides of the ledger. Business people generally, if they're operating a successful business, understand there is a debit set of ledgers and there are credit sets of ledgers, right? And you can't keep spending more than you take in, or you're in bankruptcy and out of business real soon. And it's the same thing with the taxation. In and out. What's really going on? You're not seeing it in one set of books, so most people don't think about it and pay attention to it. But if I go into a restaurant with $20 in my pocket, expecting to spend $20, but I cut dessert, I don't have a drink, I just have water, and I spend $10. Did I make $10? No. Did I save $10? Well, yeah, more or less in the dictionary definition. I had 20, I only spent 10, but that's not an extra $10 that's now left in my pocket. I decided to cut back there so that I could use that $10 somewhere else. But my point being here, I think you understand, all the debits and credits matter. You have to look at both sides of the ledger on everything. Like I said in Bidenomics 3 episode, if under Biden, you get a 9%, a 6% raise. Okay. Oh, great. Wonderful. When Trump was in office, I only got a 3% raise. Well, 6 is a bigger number than 3. I must be doing great. Well, no, idiot. The 3% raise you got under Trump, when it was 1.5% inflation, meant you were actually gaining ground and getting ahead. But 6% raise when things are 9, 12, 15, 20% more, you're losing money. You're losing ground. Both sides of the ledger, not focusing on one tree so much you miss the entire forest around it. To move on now, I belabored that point. I hope, I think, I pray enough. But again, most of you watching, I know, you get these things. So you're hearing me rant about things probably which is why it's important you share these shows with those people who don't know, who refuse to spend any time to understand actual reality economics, not fantasy world. Well, I got 6%. It's better than the 3%. I must be doing great. And they wonder why their bank account keeps diminishing, why their IRA keeps diminishing, why they are actually worse off than they were 4 years ago. You've got to look at the whole overall picture. Now, as to the hate part, moving away from all that, tied to the CommieFasciSocies hashtag blend that we have today. Oh, I never did say, this isn't the 1930s Germany, where the German Nazi Socies, that's what Goebbels, the Nazis themselves, coined themselves as, because National Socialist Deutschland Arbeiter Party is too long to say all the time. So they said Nazi Socies, and we all, when we went to war with them, just dropped it to Nazis. Nazi Socies, who later became known as fascists, like El Duce fascists in Italy, like Franco fascists in Spain. So, Soci fasci, really the same thing there, but Nazi Socies in Germany and Italy and Spain were fighting the the Moscow-backed communists. This is why the left doesn't want history taught in our schools. They then don't understand that. But today, the communists, the fascists, and the socialists CommieFasciSocies are just one big blend. They all still have their separate flags, but they all work with each other to enact the same concepts, the same policies, the same failures and erosions of your freedoms. So it really makes little difference if the communists, the fascists, or the socialist is elected and in charge. It's all the same thing, just a few minor differences, right? Communism. You heard Maxine Waters let slip one time in a congressional hearing, this Democrat's going to be all about socializing. Oops. And then she quickly caught herself and tried to change her tune. Yeah, communism, socialism, if they directly confiscate and take control of the company, state-owned, state-run, not private free market businesses, they have complete and full control. Well, how is it really any different under the supposed fascist difference or today's bastardized American free market where the federal government issues dictatorship, fascism via government regulation? How is it any different? It is the illusion. Oh, you, the CEO and the board, get to pretend you're running the company, or we give you this little leeway and wiggle room, but you can pretend to run the company as long as you follow all the government fascist dictate regulations. Do you see now how that is really no difference? It's the illusion of some freedom. It's still really little different than the socialists and the communists who directly take control of the corporation and run it out of the capital of the country. Very little difference there. Now, as to the hate, a meme, I don't know where it came from. I would accredit who created it. If I knew, I wish I knew, I would share that. I don't want to take credit for something someone else did. And likewise, obviously, I get a little irked at times, and why I trademark the term ChristiTutionalist when someone tries to steal it, or misuse it from the way I want it used. It's trademarked, but once something's put on social media, unless it's copyrighted or trademarked, it is pretty much put into the public domain. And this particular meme I'm going to read from the sheet of paper. Again, I didn't create it. Wish I know who did. I'd let you know if I did. It says, the Democrat Party is the world's most successful hate group. Exactly. It attracts poor people who hate rich people, Black people who hate white people, gay people who hate straight people, and I add to that, hate Christians and Jews because they think we want to stone them to death, which is not happening in this nation, but the moron Queers for Palestine siding with actual global Islamic jihadist interim army soldiers, terrorists, I coined that, Gizas, right, in my terror strikes book, side with Gizas who literally, if they did go to Gaza, they would stone them to death or throw them off a building. But no, they're happy to side with the terrorists who would actually kill them, but they hate and despise and want to destroy the Christians and the Jews who just say, we don't want to put, congratulations to the groom and the groom, a gay wedding label on a cake. But as Stephen Crowder said in one of his episodes, you will never, ever see them go to a Muslim bakery and pull that crap and then sue the Muslim baker. No, they only make a point out of, mostly in the news, going purposely to that bakery, even though there's 25 other bakeries in their community they can go to get the cake. They go to that Christian bakery purposely, willfully, malice aforethought, knowing they are going to say, no, I'm not comfortable putting that on your cake. Then they sue because it's not about the cake. It's like the other CTP episode. I need to start wrapping this up. I understand. I'm getting longer. I thought this would be a short episode again. I'm glad I didn't say that at the beginning of the show, because indeed it's getting long again. But they purposely go to the bakery that knows will refuse doing what they're demanding because it isn't tolerance and acceptance. They're making demands. They are going against the First Amendment freedom of religion. There are 19 other bakeries they could go to, but no, they go to the one where they know they'll get the no, then they file suit. Because like I was starting to say, the other CTP episode, the issue is never the issue. It's always about attacking our foundations, attacking Christianity, attacking Judaism, right? Because of our Judeo-Christian foundations. They want to rip all of it down. That's the real issue. And they will use any wedge that they can do towards that end of their power, their absolute power, their absolute control over you in the end is the goal here. As Dennis Prager says, again, I don't want to take credit for something somebody else says. Dennis Prager is right. He says it. Truth is not a left-wing value. It isn't. Right. The only principle and value the left has is power. Getting it, expanding it, keeping it, expanding it some more, still keeping it, and never giving any back, eliminating your freedoms in the process. Do we get how this works yet? But yet, so many around us, what time's the game on? Completely clueless and oblivious, and one day something they do care about will be gone, and guess what, idiot? You waited too long. It's too late. Once the right is gone, as Reagan said, it is almost never going to come back. That's why you have to guard your rights fiercely, every single one of them, and others' rights, whether you care about the Second Amendment or not. You have to care about your neighbor's Second Amendment, because when the you-know-what hits the fan, if you're not armed, hope and pray your neighbor who is will help protect you because you didn't exercise your Second Amendment right. But back to the meme. All right. Gay people who hate straight people. And I went down a deep rabbit hole of the why and the wherefore that's really happening. And let me go further. It's not all gay people. I have gay and lesbian friends. They are the tolerance and acceptance crowd. You tolerate me, you accept me, they know I'm a Christian, they know my position on traditional marriage. I'm willing to help them have civil unions so they have contractual, legal, binding rights like married people have, but you don't destroy regular traditional marriage that existed forever till now. They know my position. No problem. We love each other. We care about each other. We help take care of each other because indeed they are for tolerance and acceptance. Whereas the Rainbow Alphabet Mafia are, as I coined, gativists engaging in gativism. It's not about tolerance and acceptance. And I was born this way. They are the drag queen story hour people, or those who support them in the schools, grooming and recruiting, not accepting, they're recruiting into the lifestyle. Pedophilia, that slippery slope that you were warned was coming from the very start, and here we are. So again, every person, as Martin Luther King Jr. said, content of character, not right. Like I'll say Jim. That's not his name. Jim, gay guy, known him. We've considered him part of our family from when he and my younger sister met in high school. He's been over to the house all the time, had dinner with us, part of the extended family. He is a person who happens to be gay. We know that. We accept him for that. We pray for his soul because we know biblically it's a problem, but ultimately it is between him and God. In the end, condemn not, lest ye be condemned. Final judgment is for that of the Lord. So, all right, but there are lines that cannot be crossed. There is Jim, no problem. Love him like a brother, or a brother-in-law. If he would have, been straight and married my sister, love him like crazy, want the best for him, versus a gativist who is gay, and that is the only thing in life that matters about them, and they want to engage in gativism to make sure there is more and more and more and more gay people on the planet. There's a difference. That is the line. That is the distinction. Gray areas. Nothing is pure black and white, right and wrong, up and down. There are differences, right? Hate the sin, love the sinner. But again, there are some that are so far over the line that, yes, we still have to love even our enemy, but that doesn't mean we have to tolerate, accept them, or more. And thankfully, Dennis Prager says this now. I've been saying it for decades, that no, you're not asking for tolerance. You're asking for me to advocate the position you have I do not agree with. You cannot force me to advocate for you. That is over the line, biblically and constitutionally. There is a difference. Gray areas. It isn't all pure black and white. There are grounds in the middle. Details matter. Context matters. Now, indeed, finally, after I've rambled, another 7 minutes, back to the meme, feminists who hate men. Oh, you know that's true. Again, not all feminists. Martin Luther King Jr., content of character. You can't judge all blacks based on their skin tone, all whites based on their skin tone, all men based on their chromosomes, all women based on their chromosomes, which is not to say that you then can be forced to say a man that thinks he's a woman, wants to pretend he's a woman, is a woman. No, I didn't just say that. I mean actual, real, physical, pure science, not fake pseudoscience, not communist science, not back to economics, Paul Krugman fantasy, CommieFasciSocies fantasy land economics that they hope would work will not, do not, has not ever, will not ever work, versus real world Thomas Sowell type real world mathematical accounting accepted norms economics. There's a difference. So not all feminists, but a certain sector of feminists who hate men, environmentalists who hate the internal combustion engine, hence the EV mandates. They want to keep passing more and more. They eventually want to say there will be no internal combustion engine vehicles evermore, period, at some point. And that's not how our society works in free markets. And a lot of bratty college kids who hate their parents. Boy, is that true. And again, why they want to control the schools, to indoctrinate the kids, to hate their parents. Again, back to the attacking Christianity, honor your mother and father. No, they want them all to be wards of the fascistic state, the Hitlery version of it takes a village. Bringing it back to that, since I never closed that loop or completed that thought, they don't want the community biblical village. They want the communist forced, theft, top-down controlled version, wards of the state version of your children. However, the real secret of the party's success is that it attracts the support of journalists. We see this ever more and more, left-wing bias media, as I call them, who hate Republicans. And Republicans, gee, did that word just come out of nothingness to be created out of whole cloth? No, republic is in the name for a reason. And not to say all Republicans are great. They're not. Rhinos and Cinos and Fascicrats are all deep state top-down controllers. So most Republicans, they hate because we indeed want to preserve our limited federal government constitutional republic, hence Republicans, going back, and who therefore, the journalists, work tirelessly to convince the rest of the world that we should vote for Democrats. And that indeed sums up the left wing, the Fascicrats, the CommieFasciSocies blends party way they bring groups, right? Again, they hate our fountain. You and I, they don't want to be an individual. They see no one as an individual. You are part of a group, and either you're in that group and you're with them, or you're an enemy. Well, you're an enemy of the Democrats. You're not an enemy of the actual republic you're living in, right? I lost my train of thought there. Larry Elder, right, ran for governor of California at the recall election, unfortunately lost. Also, for a brief time, decided he'd run for president. They call Larry Elder, if you don't know, a black man, a black straight man. So, with traditional, regular American, Republic, conservative, ChristiTutionalist, family values. He's the black face of white supremacy. Had you not heard that yet before? Yeah, Larry Elder, black man, is not on, as Candace Owens says, the Democrat plantation anymore. So he is not a black man. Remember when Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black? Because they don't see anyone as an individual. Everyone is part of a subgroup that they want to bring together as a coalition to make the communist collective to force upon everyone else. Right? We are all supposed to be individuals, but the Larry Elder thing is a classic and perfect example here, and also why they hate Candace Owens so much. Now, Candace Owens is still liberal on some things. And also, as Dennis Prager says, I've dropped his name a lot during this show, there's a difference between a classical liberal and a leftist. And he is absolutely correct. And I even talk about that in the books. I've been wrong. I've been saying, you know, the old, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. I created a meme that says you can lead a liberal to the truth, but you cannot make them think. I was wrong. Did you all hear that? Let me say it again. I was wrong. Dennis Prager corrected me. He is absolutely right. There is a difference between a classical liberal and a leftist. Classical liberal, Brandon Straka, gay white man, left the Democrat plantation. The Rainbow Alphabet Mafia had been selling that gay man out to the Fascicrats. And now he woke up and no longer stands for it. Candace Owens, black woman, off the Democrat plantation. The plantation's just changed. It's a different kind of slavery. It's an economic slavery now, rather than the physical one. But slavery, nonetheless, as Jared Howe, as I quote in the quotations chapter of CTP2 book, you do not get to dictate to someone their labor or their capital. That is just the new slavery. It's like housing costs. That came up. It's a part of this coming election. Harris wants to enact price controls, rent control, and that fails every there I go again. Every leftist, every CommieFasciSocies controlled urban center that it's tried, it fails because you're dictating to someone, you build $100,000 house, but you only get to sell it for $75,000. No one can have an operating business that way. Jimmy Carter and Habitat for Humanity can get volunteers together and build a house over a week's time at next to nothing, at lower cost, because there's no labor involved, it's volunteers, and then indeed sell that house cheap. But those who actually build all our houses and our apartment complexes for a living cannot be dictated to, yeah, you build that, it costs you $100,000, too bad, you lose 20. Price controls, they don't work. But again, that's federal government edicts, dictates, regulations. A market and an economy cannot work that way. It will collapse, like the Bradford colony talked about. More and more people will decide, I'm not going to do as much work if I'm getting that supposed equity share. And soon, more people are in the cart than can pull the cart, and Atlas will shrug. People don't understand these very simple, basic concepts. And that's what I am here for. That's what I hope you are here for, to help share these shows, to educate those that. And the other thing is that when someone doesn't actually pay for something, if they think they're getting it for free, even though no such thing as free, they don't treat it because, well, they don't treat it well. They don't keep it up because they didn't earn it. They don't own it. That's why Bradford instituted private property ownership as part of movement away from communism, which was tried here before Marx ever came along, and our country was then founded on private property, free markets, individual rights and responsibilities. And we keep moving away from that and wonder why our society is collapsing. If you don't own it, if you didn't work to get it, you have no respect for it. Not true of everybody, but unfortunately, human nature. Let me say it again about Christ saying, the poor will always be among you. That's not an economics statement. That's a human nature statement. There will always be those, and that's also why the Bible says it's our community personal commandment through charity to take care of our brothers and sisters, our widows and orphans who are unable to do for themselves. The Bible, it's in there, unable versus unwilling. We have no obligation to the unwilling, and the poor will always be among us because there are some who will never, ever care even enough about themselves to want to do more to better their lot in life. Back to bread and circus. As long as they maybe even only have a tent over their head on public land where they have no right to be, but hey, there's a roof of some kind over their head and there's a little bit of food in their belly, they're happy to coast through life that way. Again, not true of all the homeless. I'm not trying to generalize. Whenever I say a group, I mean a part of any given group is indeed that way, right? Human nature, we're talking here. Jesus knew it 2,000 years ago, but yet some people today still can't figure it out why communism won't work. The Bible lays it all out for you if you bother to read the whole Bible in complete context. Community is biblical, communism is not. Okay, I'm kind of looking down at my notes, but I've gone so long here now on all those things. I'm indeed just going to cut it off here. Thank you all to those who indeed made it to the end. Again, I think most of you that tuned in probably know all this stuff, but you're getting reassurance that indeed you knew it and that these things other people need to be educated on the reality versus the indoctrination delusions they've been given and why our country keeps going down and down and down. And as I say, roar, not the Katy Perry video, roar, acronym. Restore our American Republic before it's too late, because there's nowhere else to go unless if you like really, really cold weather, and we're all going to try to pile on to Antarctica to start an actual other new free nation. Not going to happen. This is the last stand on earth. We must fight to keep it, right? As Franklin said, a republic, if you can keep it, and why our founding documents say in big bold letters, we the people, up to all of us to dedicate some time to protect and preserve our rights, because as Glenn Beck always used to talk about the Overton window, the natural human nature is to become lazy and complacent, and yet others, again, not all humans, right? There are other humans who are very ambitious and power hungry and want to move more and more to the left, giving them more and more power and authority and control over everybody else. We, the people, must help restore our American Republic, or all our children are doomed. And one last thing. another episode, I was talking with Christopher Stevenson, right? We all know the back of the book, Revelations, but that doesn't excuse some Christians, in my opinion, far too many, and indeed I include in the fake Christians category. It doesn't mean, oh, I'm here, I don't really got to do anything, Jesus died for me, I'm going to heaven, whatever happens here, whatever, who cares? No, you have not read your whole Bible. 2 Chronicles 7:14, it's alone. Pray, heal the land, hear from heaven, and we'll heal your land. No, I've screwed that up. If my people pray and turn from wicked ways, I shall hear in heaven and heal your land. You don't get to skip over that turn from wicked ways part. As the Rush song says, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. If you don't sow any good, you are guilty and complicit in the evil that is the fruit instead of good fruit that we would otherwise sow. All these things, right? Heal, turn from wicked ways, reap to sow, known by fruits, not empty language. All these things speak of actions. You, as a Christian, are commanded to act, to try to sow good, so good can be reaped. And if you do nothing, you let evil prevail. You are complicit in that. You did not follow your whole Bible by just saying, oh, I'm better than it all and I don't need to be bothered. That in itself, not directly mentioned as a sin, does fit in, let's say, at least the pride, the hubris sin. And it's really hubris, right? I should be proud of my kids for getting A's at school. Proud if my kid hits a home run at Little League Baseball. Proud of a job well done at work. There are many things we should take pride in. Hubris, I'm above it all, and me, only me, to heck with the rest of you, is unchristian hubris and is definitely among the sins. But people do not read their whole Bible in context. All right, I'm way up around an hour now, so I'm going to skedaddle. All of these things, I packed several shows into the one show. You should indeed go back and look at the When Are You Going to Fight Bidenomics 3, gray areas, and all the Republic, if you could keep it, all those other shows that I briefly mentioned here, that those individual sub-items are expounded upon, because again, all these things relate. All these things are coming from the Bible if you actually read the whole Bible. Thank you all. Take care. God bless.
Thank you for having tuned in for ChristiTutionalist Politics Show. If you haven't already, please check out my primary internationally available book, Terror Strikes, coming soon to a city near you. Available anywhere books are sold. If you have locally run bookstores still near you, they can order it for you, or autographed copies are available online direct from me via terrorstrikes.info/shop. Be sure to check out more about today's discussion at thelibertybeacon.com, where my articles drop every Saturday. And let me remind, over time, the fancy high production items will come. But for now, for starters, it's just you, as a very appreciated listener by me. All substance, no fluff, no fancy high production intro or inserts, at least yet, just straight to key discussion points. A show that looks at a variety of topics, mostly politics, through a Christian U.S. constitutionalist lens. So again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Take care. God bless.